Hey, this is Matt Sassano, and you're listening to Rock for Him.
Hey everybody, it's us again over here at Rock for Him with another exciting podcast episode where we take you behind the scenes so we can talk to some of the groups and singers that we have on our station. But before we get to our special guest for tonight, I want to introduce my two co-hosts as always, Jason Sanshoes Bukowski and Boogie Down Jeremy Brown. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Fantastic. Good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is something we haven't done too much of so far, but we're having a guest back for the second time. It's been a little bit. Please welcome back Mr. Matt Sassano. Hey, brother, how are you tonight?
Hey, man, it feels like deja vu. I feel like I was just hanging out with you guys just the other day, and now we're back again. I'm revved up and ready to, chat with you guys again, man. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome having you on.
Yeah, we love it.
Thank you.
We love it.
So thanks for stopping by, and maybe just fill us in before we went on the air. You were kind of filling us in where you've been recently, and tell us. I know you were on tour with Seventh Day Slumber. Maybe a little bit about that. I'm sure we can talk about some other stuff as well.
Sure. So, as of recently, I just spent the last 3 days in Isle, Minnesota, and it was kind of a different kind of event for me because I was the only rock artist on the bill, and so on this flyer, it was kind of a funny story. I didn't even know how I got drafted to play on this festival. I looked like 2 weeks ago, and somebody had tagged me in a photo, and it was this event flyer for this thing called Rural Festival. And I see that I'm on the flyer with Danny Goki and Tasha Layton and all these different K-Love style bands. I'm like, I didn't even know that I was going to be playing it. So I had to Google my name and make sure there wasn't another Matt Sassano. And so it was a really great event. Over the course of 3 days, we saw about, I want to say 8,000 people just rallied around in this huge park. And there was concerts for the last couple of days, and it was such a great event. So shout out to Tim, who organized the event, and he told me that, like, basically he felt a really strong impression that I should be on it. And so really loved the crowd. It was a different flair for what I usually do. I'm usually with a bunch of headbangers, but it was a really nice variety, and I really enjoyed the time, man.
Did you get to hang out with Danny or anyone?
Well, I met not Danny. He was, we all had these like personal trailers and everything, and he kind of, I'm sure if you're Danny Goki, if you step outside that trailer, you're going to get swamped. So I didn't see him, but I did run into Sanctus Real, if y'all know who Sanctus Real is. Yep. And then I actually had lunch with the guy, Rhett Walker. He was from the Rhett Walker band and everything. And so little known secret about me, when I'm in between tours with Seventh Day or on my own independent tours and my ears start ringing, I will every once in a while put on K-Love. And so it was cool kind of just seeing some of these bands that I typically, just listen to when my ears need a rest from the rock and roll and the moshy stuff every once in a while.
Nice.
So
how did the crowds react to you? I mean, if it's a K-Love crowd, how did they react to your music?
I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. Like, I got a lot of people coming back saying how much the story and the music really impacted them. And a lot of the key word that I kept hearing was like raw and real, that the music that we did was really raw and real. And it met people in a place where I felt like, maybe they're not used to it. I mean, not to discredit all the other great artists that are on that kind of a festival, but with my songs, we're talking about domestic abuse, we're talking about disabilities. And so the repeating theme that I kept hearing was that, like, they really appreciated the rawness and realness of it. And one story that kind of stuck out in particular, I met this girl who, when she was 7 years old, got into an accident, and like, she's a beautiful girl, but her face was kind of just suffered and all that kind of stuff, like wounds and things. And she was saying how much like my testimony meant to her, because a lot of times she felt like an outcast or, a little different. So I met all these sorts of different people with different stories. And I think, it's so cool to, that like pain is universal, no matter what crowd you're in. And when you can speak to those issues, people reacted well. So I was glad that I didn't get booed off stage. No tomatoes headed my way, and it was awesome, man.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
So, how's the tours with Seventh Day Slumber been going for you? I know you've been touring with
Man,
them, and
well, right now,
Rose.
yeah, right now I think 7 Day Slumber is in Canada. So they're right now with Magdalene Rose and doing some stuff. I just got a message from one of my Canadian friends saying, dude, they should have brought you. So yeah, I told them, I'm like, man, you got to go and bug them and bring me back. But yeah, 7 Day Slumber tours are always an amazing thing. And that was one of the tours, like, they were the guys that like brought me in and like taught me all about tour life. And so to go from them and then doing this CCM event here, I'm hoping that even more events start to kick up during the coming months, even, man.
Mm.
Thank you.
Kind of back a step. I'm like you, every once in a while I'll kick on the K-Love or Air One or what have you. It's good to have a good blend of Christian music. And I think personally, from my standpoint, it would only benefit both sides if we could integrate a little more of the heavier stuff with the K-Love side. Air One years ago used to actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
They had a nice blend of both, and it made for a real nice station. But then they decided to go full-time worship, so they're full-time worship. But I just think I always have said this a few times before as well. Some of the coolest shows I've been to are like Winter Jam, where you've got 4 or 5 different genres coming together, and the people beside you, no matter what church or what affiliation or what their full beliefs of the word is, it's just like a uniting voice as the church. And sometimes, it's hard to grasp what heaven will one day be like, but just kind of all glorifying God together, unity, instead of nitpicking back and forth and all this separation that you have. And I just think personally that'd be a great direction for the music industry to go. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I really do too. And the one thing that I kind of heard from a lot of the radio people that were there is that there's a true hunger for authenticity and rawness and realness in music. And so on the day that I was there, we had me open up the event at 11 o'clock, and then Danny Goki took the stage that night, and man, he was killing it. Like, I mean, his band was phenomenal. Like, there's always something to appreciate about styles of music, but like he brought in saxophone players. He had an amazing light show, and so it was very eclectic. And just to see, like, if you look on my Instagram, you'll see like just droves of people coming in and really enjoying it. And I was really thrilled that like all throughout the next day, somebody would come up to me and be like, man, what you set up there really impacted me. And then I'd run into, like I said, I had lunch with Rhett Walker, and he's talking about tour stories and, how he wrote certain songs and where he was. And so it was really cool just to see like this eclectic experience. There was 2 rock bands that were there, me, and I think there was one more rock artist. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. But festivals like that were really exciting because, like what you said, man, we need more unity in our, in this music thing, man, just to kind of different things reach different people. And I was glad to be a part of such a big event.
So
It was,
on the tours that you've been on, oh, sorry,
Rhett Walker, if I don't, was he in prison?
oh, who's that?
That's okay. Was Rhett Walker in prison, or he had some sort of
I think
unique
for a
testimony?
time he got involved in, I think for a time, I don't want to like misrepresent his story, but he went through a period of like drug use and everything like that, and just really went through a time where he went through his rebellious stage. And Yeah, so he has a really raw story to tell and everything, and I just so happened to kind of like bump into him in the lunchroom when I was mowing down my sub, and he just sat next to me. He's like, "Dude, what's up, man?" And he didn't know who I was, but I knew exactly who he was. So I was like, "Come on over, sit down," and we got to chat for a good 45 minutes, hang out, and yeah, man, I think he's been through a lot, and I really liked a lot about his music. He had a like kind of an acoustic set going on. And yeah, people came in droves. And his merch table, I think, was right next to mine. So as they were passing me to see him, I would pull him in, be like, "Yo, come on over." Yeah.
Nice. So, with the tours that you've been on, what are just some of the things that have taken you by surprise that you're like, wow, God is so good. I can't believe I'm getting to participate in this.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like this past weekend was a prime example of that. Like I said, I didn't even know that I was going to end up in Isle, Minnesota, 15-hour drive from where I am in Knoxville, Tennessee. And somebody just randomly tagged me in this photo, and I saw that I was on the event flyer, and I'm like, who, what? I'm going to be on the bill with Danny Goki and all these other people. Like, this does not usually happen. And yeah, like I said, I had to like Google my name and like figure out, is there another Matt Sassano? Because this isn't typically like something that this isn't necessarily my scene. I loved it, but yeah, it was just really amazing to hear. And like I said, just meeting different people from different backgrounds. We always assume that like because somebody likes a certain type of music that they might not resonate with what I'm doing, or that their story isn't like. But I heard so many stories of people's pain and things that they've overcome, and so it really was just like just like any rock tour with people that are just more eclectic. But yeah, I would say that like this particular event blew my mind because like I said, there was about 8,000 people there over the course of 3 days. And so just to be in that mix and feel everybody's energy and feel everybody's expectation for what was to happen, and to talk to so many people that have like, I mean, that girl that I met, there was this girl that like, had been homeless for a while. So she was talking about her journey. And it's just like, man, pain is universal, and God really shows up anywhere.
Did you ever figure out how you got added to that bill?
I don't like, I literally don't have a clue. I talked to the organizer, and he's just like, yeah, like, I don't have a concrete answer. I was like, how did you find out about me? And so I don't know if he's an angel or something. I don't know what happened, but there's no origin to where he came from or how he heard about me. But he's like, hey, man, God told me to put you on this bill, and that's what we did. So I was like,
Nice.
okay, man, well, I'll reserve a spot for next year. It was fun.
I mean, that's hilarious that not only did you not reach out to them, you don't know who reached out to them, and you found out by a social media post being tagged.
Yeah, dude, my face was like, just like,
Like,
frozen,
wait,
and they're
what?
like, yeah, because I mean, it's just like, I have nothing against that music. I love every
Right.
style, but that's just typically, you don't see Tasha Layton and Matt Sassano on the same flyer very much, or any of that. So it was just really unexpected, but like every bit is worth the trip, worth the 15 hours, man.
Awesome.
Does that mean there's a collab coming too?
Man, wouldn't that be something, right?
That
Wouldn't
would
that be something? Oh, dude, yeah, I love it. I actually got the contact information for the guy from Sanctus Real, because when I'm not doing music, I like to every once in a while do like publications for like Rock on Purpose and stuff. And so hopefully I can get an interview with them and just like chat. I got to tell them a little bit about how their music kind of helped calm my anxiety back in the day. And so like they were really blown away about that story. And so meeting these people that like I've listened to everywhere from like casually to like heavily, it was just like weird, running into everybody.
So
Yeah.
let's
And then going on, other tours where your ears are ringing and you're like, oh my gosh, my next sore from headbanging. So I like the diversity of it, man.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you listen to that stuff for anxiety. How do you deal with that while you're on tour?
Well, man, luckily I've definitely just gotten better with it over time. There was a time when I wouldn't go a day without having tormenting attacks, and it would happen pretty much daily. I used to be on medicine for it and everything like that, and through prayer and just like continued, therapy. I had a lot of therapy growing up too about it. It's gotten better since I kind of moved to Tennessee, but every once in a while it will still kind of try to creep its ugly little anxiety head up and bug me. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where I don't feel like you're ever fully recovered once you have anxiety, but you can learn to manage it well. And I think too, what happened, like I was a long, like before I got into music and everything, I was like a 2-pack a day smoker. So I was like always paranoid that like, my health was going to catch up with me and all that. And so I think just like a troublesome family life back in the day and, not really taking the best care of myself kind of caught up to me and, definitely spurred on a whole bunch of anxiety. So I'm glad to say that like, I have occasional attacks, but they're much, much better. And when I do, yeah, I just kind of try to push through it, man. There's no other way.
Well, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, being your friend on social media and seeing when you do have those attacks and you post about it, hey, I need prayer, had a really bad night last night. Just seeing the comments and the support that people give you. Like I know for myself, I immediately start praying for you, like, Lord, please just, help calm Matt's spirit. And then just reading through the comments of all the people that just love and care for you and how they're praying for you. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, I think it's just like there's something to this like feeling like uh you know understood and kind of affirmed in that you have anxiety, and that if people understand it kind of calms you down, because mental health is one of those things that oftentimes people just gets swept in the corner. People don't really understand it. I remember when I was coming up and I would first have panic attacks, like maybe like 2 people in my circle really got what I was going through, but the rest would be like, snap out of it. So yeah, when I put it on social media, and really when I put it on social media, it's not to like gain attention for myself or anything
Right.
like that. I just want to create an environment to where it's like, you can chat about this stuff. You can be open about your anxieties and things like that. And so hopefully by doing that, like people see my vulnerability and things that I've gone through, and like, they're like, hey man, we struggle just like I did, and maybe I can talk to them. So even in my weak points, I always like to let people know what I'm going through and kind of what I'm thinking about. And, anxiety over particularly the last, you know, past like, this past year, it kind of made a spike again, but now it's going back down. So thank God for that, man. And I just want to encourage anybody who's going through it just to, be open with it. And, maybe not everybody's going to understand what you're going through, but you'll find that one, man. Hopefully they'll help you through it.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of goes back to what the people were saying to you at your last show, raw and real. And that's always what I took from your post. I didn't think it was you trying to look at me, look at me. It was, this is what I'm dealing with. It was always raw and real. And that's what I appreciated about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of like at the core of what I do, like I said, is very transparent. Like, you know a lot about my story. We talked a lot about it before, but like I
Yeah.
came from a Christian home where everything was buried and, abuse and just emotions and pain. And so I think that really spurred on like a real sense of just wanting to be transparent in everything I did. And even when it's not the most pleasant things to bring up or to admit, like I like to create an environment where people can just like feel good to at least express what they're going through, and that's kind of where that comes from, is like, if I'm going through anxiety, I'm going to let you know. If I'm quitting, some sort of addiction or something that's a vice, I'm going to let you know. If I'm feeling like maybe God's not hearing me, I'll let you know. And I think that reflects not only in my music, but just like throughout my life. That's been that's kind of been my motto.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks.
So I think we are wearing the 2 or 3 songs that we have on the station. So my question would be, what do we got coming out next?
So man, I am
Starving
so
us.
excited. I got to hit the studio with Josiah Prince again, man, and we're working on 2 new singles. One of the first ones is it's called Fuel, and it's basically the theme of the song is all the dark things that happen to you, the personal hell that you're going through doesn't have to destroy you. That in fact it can be the very thing that propels you in the right direction and makes you stronger in the end. You know what I mean? And so I'm super excited about it. If you like the last stuff with In Defiance, I think you're really going to enjoy this stuff. It was just an awesome, phenomenal experience to hit back studio with Josiah and really start brainstorming again about how we can bring something new, but also like, for people that like the stuff that we did before, let them know we're still here rocking here.
Love it.
So
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, we're excited.
yeah, I'm super stoked, man. It's gonna be really cool. Thank you so much.
So, you got any big tours coming up? Anything with Sunday Slumber or anything by yourself? Or
Well, right now, it's kind of funny because when you get in music like this, and things start to kind of snowball. So right now, I'm on a break, for not an intentional break, but I've got a lot of like podcasts coming up, and I got like a network TV thing that I'm going to be on. It's called Christian CTN, I believe it's called. It's a Christian network where they want to talk about my music and some of my story in Tennessee as well. So the guy found out about me when I was buying a CO2 tank for my show. You've seen that little smoke blower, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
turns out, a couple years later, he started his own Christian program, and he has the same disability as I do, which is CP. And he's been following me throughout my journey just because I went to his shop to buy a CO2 tank. And so I'm going to be on his station here later in the month. And I think, as these podcasts and everything kind of come to fruition, like things tend to snowball. You know what I mean? I didn't even know I was supposed to be in Minnesota this past week. So I don't know. I could be I'm like Carmen Sandiego. You never know where I'm gonna be. I'm aging I'm aging myself with that reference, but I'm like, where's Waldo? You never know.
you're aging all of us with that reference.
Yeah, man. It was just like I just keep going places, man, and I don't know. But yeah, really excited, like I said, about Fuel, and hope you guys will check it out. Again, that release date is October, I think. I don't want to misquote the date, but October 20th, I believe. So be on the lookout for it. And what really helps is if people that are listening or hit the follow button on Spotify for me. That way you get all the notifications and stuff like that. Like Joe always tells me, he's kind of my mentor from Seventh Day. He's like, it's not enough that they stream you, they got to push the follow button. So I cannot stress it enough. If you're interested in Fuel and the upcoming singles, press the follow button, man. It's gonna be awesome.
You heard the guy. Hit follow. Do that for us,
right.
They do that, yeah. While you're at it, follow us too.
Why not?
Yeah, man. Thank you.
What you got, Scott?
I think I don't know how much time we have left, but so on the last tour when you were out, what was your favorite city to stop by? And do you have a story you can share about a person who dedicated their life or gave their life to the Lord or something that I'm sure you see a bunch, maybe one quick story of something that touched you.
One of the cool things was really stuck out to me on one of the tours was we tour a lot of prisons. We go to a lot of prison gigs together. And it was really cool to be able to maximum security is just really dark. When you go in there, man, you can just feel kind of the oppression that hovers around the place, man, and it's really dark sometimes. And so we went in there, and I performed about a half hour set, and just really felt like I had connected with a lot of the inmates in there. And one of them that I'll always remember came up to me. He was serving a really, really long sentence for a pretty heinous crime. And one of the things he said was, man, I was really deep into witchcraft and the occult. And because of what you said up there, and because of some of the things that, I felt as you were playing your set, I'm going to rip out my occult books and get myself a Bible today. And so that was just really encouraging, man. Not only was it just like, because you always think about like concerts, people are free to roam, but like it really shows that like when God wants to pursue you, he's going to pursue you in the depths of wherever your prison is, man, wherever you're at. This guy is in prison for something crazy and very, very dark, and probably never expected us to come strolling through those prison doors to reach him in a maximum security prison, to where he could like surrender his life of getting into things that are dark, and just like coming into the light, and surrendering his life fully to God. And so that really always stuck out with me. And of course, a lot of times we'll be on tour, and my thing is mental health and disabilities as well, so I'll hear a lot of stories about that, and those would never cease to get old either. So yeah, man, it's been awesome.
That's great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, man.
Hey, man,
you're honestly one of our favorites. Like your music, I mean, it's fantastic. Like you can feel the emotion in your music, and I mean, it can go from kind of hard and heavy to really deep. And I think that's what we appreciate most about you. Again, it goes back to what people have been telling you: raw and real. No matter what style your music is, it's raw and real.
Yeah, I think we're in an age right now where people just crave the authenticity of music. Like if nothing shows you that more than I mean, I don't have there's no, I don't know what anybody's political ideology is, but when Oliver Anthony is beating Taylor Swift in the charts, and his song is nothing that you would equate with like pop culture, that there's a real craving out there for real and authentic music, no matter how you feel about it, man. It's like, I think people are tired of the polished. I think people are tired of kind of just, music that maybe doesn't say anything. And so I'm glad that this is where I feel rock can make a real resurgence, because like I said, I was at a CCM event all weekend and saw 7,000 people that were just like, dude, loved your music, loved your message. And so it gives me a hope that not only they heard my testimony and liked it, but that we maybe introduced and made some new rock fans today, over the week. So it's cool.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we are quickly running out of time. So before we get out of here, is there anything that you want the listeners of Rock for Him to know about what you got coming up, what you got going on, or just about you in general?
Hey, man, I just want to encourage everybody that, whatever they're going through, whatever you're presently facing, that you're not alone, that oftentimes we're in that waiting period where God can be using the darkness that we're in to be fuel to where we want to go next. And so just encourage you guys, October 20th, once again, check out Fuel, and stay on task with Rockfest Records is going to be promoting it. We're working on the artwork right now. We're doing a lot of the behind the scenes work before we unveil it to the world. So like I said, man, stay strong in whatever you're doing, and drop me a message anytime if you need encouragement, man. I'm always there on social media, and I love to talk to anybody who comes my way.
Awesome. Well,
appreciate you guys, man.
And we appreciate you. And before we get out, the one thing, as you know, that we love to do is pray for our guests. Is there something that we can pray for you for?
Yeah, man. So I guess just continued provision. I think what I really would like to see is sometimes when you're on tour so much and doing so much, You know, having the, I guess, financial backing to where I can travel with my family, and you know, I don't have to miss my mom and my dog, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And then just like for continued inspiration for future music, man. I want to, you know, continue to write stuff that's impactful, and I never want to let up on that mission.
Okay. All right. And because I've missed this man praying so much, Scott, will you pray us out of here?
Certainly. Let's Father. Awesome Father in heaven, thank you for a wonderful night to get together and chat about you and the way you use the talents that you've given us. I thank you for Matt and the ministry that he has, and the people that you're reaching through him. Just continue to bless him, and not only with wisdom and content for future endeavors that he has, but also on the financial aspect. We know and we hear a lot through our podcasts and radio stuff that it's not easy out there, but we know you're in control, and you know you do want us. We were commanded to witness and bring people to you. So continue to let us be the light for you and lead everybody to Jesus Christ, your Son, who somehow you mercifully gave to us to cover our sins. And just one more thing that Matt had mentioned, that even people who seem so far gone can still reach out. And if anybody is viewing or watching the podcast tonight, just speak to them through this and lead them to you. And we want to give you all the glory, honor, and praise. We love you. Bless Matt, bless our ministry at Rock for Him as well. And we ask all things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work, man. And I believe there's even better things coming for you guys as well, man, down the pipeline. So continue to press in, work hard, and keep him first, man. Keep rocking.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say, I want to remind you, Matt, that if you're going to rock for him.
If you like what you saw today, hit the subscribe and like button down below, and don't forget to share it to all your friends. Also, leave us a comment down below. If you're going to rock for him.